everybody, this is Terry from terryscraftroom.com, and we're here today to make this beautiful, elegant, tufted card. Let's get started. So what you need, supplies-wise, is an 8.5 by 5.5 inch card base scored at the 4 1/4 mark. Then you need a black mat. That's Blackberry Bliss, by the way. Then you need a basic black mat, and this is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Then you need 2 Whisper White cardstocks that are 5 1/4 by 4 inches across, same size. You need a scrap of the Blackberry Bliss. You need a scrap of Whisper White, and you need a scrap of any color, just a scrap that's not, it doesn't have to be a full size card with card size, but it does need to be wide enough and big enough to get score lines, and I'll show you that later. So the first step is we want to do our stamping. And this flower, this cherry blossom here, comes from the Forever Blossom stamp set, which is in the 2020 Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. So our first step is to stamp. And I'm using Blackberry Bliss ink as well, so this is kind of a tone-on-tone. And we're going to just stamp right up the side here. And then while we're stamping, I'm going to stamp my center. So there's my middle piece. Okay, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment as well. And that is the smile from the Daisy Lane stamp set, which is in the annual catalog. The reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to let my Blackberry Bliss ink dry some before we start messing with the page. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my heat gun . Okay. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to do some scoring to get our tufted look. So what we need is our Stampin' Up! Trimmer. A scoreboard probably won't work as well because you have to line things up. And you're not going to be scoring straight lines up and down, you're going to be scoring on the diagonal, as you can see on this page here. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up our card front and I'm using a stylus here, and I'm going to make a little divot here at the 2 inch mark. Then I'm going to turn it sideways and make another divot at the 2 inch mark and one at the 2 inch mark on that side. And then we're going to line it up at the 4 inch mark and do the same thing. Okay, and then I'm going to line this up down here at the bottom at the 1 1/4 inch mark and the 3 1/4 inch mark. Okay, now we're ready to get started. So now we're going to score from this 2 inch mark to this 2 inch mark. So we need to line this up right here in our channel, get our cutting blade out of the way, and score. Now we're going to score from the corner to the 4-inch mark. And the way you know you're doing it right is that your lines are parallel. Now we're going to go from this 2-inch mark to this 3 1/4 inch mark down here on the bottom. And then from the 4-inch mark to the 1 1/4 inch mark. Okay, now we need to add 2 more marks along the bottom of our page. To do that, we're going to turn it upside down and then line it up again at the 1 1/4 inch mark, and then the 3 1/4 inch mark. And now we're going to, so our first score lines went diagonally this way. Now we're going to score diagonally this way. So we're going to line up this 2-inch mark with this 2-inch mark. And then the corner with the 4-inch mark. And then this 2-inch mark with the 3 1/4 inch mark. Hard time seeing these sometimes. And then the 4-inch mark. With the 1 1/4 inch mark. And then there are all our score lines. You can see them better on the back. Okay. So now we need to get the tufting, or this ombre effect here on all our diamonds. So that's where our pieces, one of our pieces of scrap came in. So what I did with this was I marked them at the same places, 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and then I laid it on my paper and marked it where it was supposed to be, where the line would come, and then did all my scoring. And then I took and cut out one of my diamonds. See, here's the back, you can see. So I cut out one of the diamonds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this just like that at the bottom of the diamonds. And then I'm going to use that as a mask to mask out so I don't get my smoky slate anywhere but where I want to. And then I'm going to sponge right there. Oops, I didn't quite have it lined up. So we're going to just sponge right there. And you're going to do this with all your diamonds. And when you're doing it over your Blackberry Bliss, you kind of want to be careful because the Blackberry Bliss tends to smudge a little bit. So just be a little bit careful when you do that. When you sponge, you need to remember to start off of your project. You always start off of your project and then go on your project. So if you see, I'm starting my sponge down here on my scrap piece of paper and then going up to my Whisper White. The reason that is because if you don't, you risk the chance of getting this really harsh splotch on your paper that makes it really hard to blend it in. Okay, so now we've got all of our diamonds filled in. Now what I usually do is these bottom 3, I don't want them to be so stark white. So I'll take my sponge and kind of give them each a little bit of an ombre so it looks like they were just cut off after I sponged the bottom. Just like that. Okay. So, and there's your tufting effect. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some Wink of Stella, and you don't have to do this, but I like the glitter. And I'm just adding it to the centers of the flowers just to give it a little extra something. Just like that. Okay, now we take our smile and we're going to punch it out with the story label punch. Now if you notice on the original card, I have the story label punch, but I also have it matted. Now I'm going to show you a trick to mat, because we only have one size punch here, but you can still mat it. So what you need are 2 punch outs of your colored cardstock, which is what your other piece of scrap was for. Get a pair of scissors here. And what you do is your first piece you cut in half long ways, just like that. And your second piece you cut in half short ways, just like that. And this second piece, when I put it on, I don't want these fat parts hanging out, so I'm just going to trim them right now. Because all I want is this rounded edge here. And then get a little bit of adhesive. We're going to take and just give ourselves a little bit of a border here and a little bit of a border here. You see it doesn't quite come together in the back. That's how you make a mat out of something you only have the same size for. And then we want to do the ends. There you go, there's one end. There's the other end. And again, it didn't quite come together, but we have a nice mat. Nobody will see this part. Okay, let's put everything together now. That's a template. So we fold our cardstock in half. And we give it some good adhesive to adhere it down onto our black mat. And this black mat is only 1/8 of an inch bigger than the Whisper White, because I didn't want a whole lot showing. And then this is 1/8 of an inch bigger than my card base. So I wanted it to be right to the edge of the card base. And here I'm using Stampin' Up's Mini Dimensionals, and I think they are the perfect size for any project. And when you buy them, you get 3 sheets of these, which is awesome. Just a great amount. You get like 720 dimensionals, something like that. Okay, we'll put this on. Okay, and then put some dimensionals on the back of our Smile. You know, the reason I'm doing smile on this is because I've been giving out during this coronavirus thing. Anytime I go to the grocery store, I'm giving out cards thanking everybody for actually being at work and and being out there. There we go. Put that on. Oh, we got to put our inside on. Just to, you know, brighten people's day, especially the grocery store workers. They have been so harried and underappreciated, but they're there every day. There we go. Now let's finish it off with some flat back pearls. I'm using my Pick Me Up tool. And I'm just going to put a pearl in the middle of each flower here. And since we only have 4 flowers, you never want to have an even number. And so I'm going to put one pearl right here under the smile. And there you have a beautiful tufted card. You guys have a wonderful day and keep stamping. And for more inspiration, check out terryscraftroom.com. Bye!